Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. This Saturday is UFC 279. We are less than 24 hours away from the start of UFC 279, and the card has just been turned upside down. It's been completely reshuffled. Nate Diaz versus Khamzat Chimaev is off. The new main event is Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson, and this is going to be my full breakdown and prediction of this fight. And this is a fight that I am really looking forward to. This is a fight that I've wanted for many years. And this is actually a fight that I was really upset this week that I realized it was never going to happen. You know, unless we got a miracle, we were never going to see Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. Well, we got that miracle, some unforeseen circumstances. And now the new main event is Ferguson versus Diaz. And this is a fan-friendly matchup. This is going to be a crazy matchup. Both guys are absolute legends in the sport. Both guys are getting towards the tail end of their career. But I don't think they're both washed. You know, I think they're still rather skilled fighters. They're not going to compete for a belt. They're not going to compete for a #1 contender spot. But I still think they have significant skills. I think other promotions would pick them up if the UFC were to let them go. And this is a fight that I think will be a lot of fun, and it's the fight that should have been made originally. You know, without the UFC and Dana White's pettiness towards Nate Diaz not signing a contract extension, this is the fight we probably would have gotten, and it makes a lot of sense. Every hardcore MMA fan is happy about this, and I couldn't be more delighted that we are going to get Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson before the end of their careers. And also, this fight has some significance because this is probably going to be Nate Diaz's last UFC fight. This is the last fight on his deal. He's made it known he doesn't intend to re-sign with the UFC. You never know what could happen. But this may very well be Nate Diaz riding off in the sunset after being in the UFC for countless years. So this is a fight that isn't necessarily a pay-per-view headliner, but I love this as a pay-per-view headliner compared to the original pay-per-view headliner. I'll tell you that much. And if you're wondering all the circumstances that have to do with UFC 279, I made a full dedicated video. I will link it down in the description. You can go check it out after this prediction video. So if you look at the tail of the tape, Nate Diaz is 20-13. Tony Ferguson is 25-7. Nate Diaz is not currently ranked anywhere. Tony Ferguson is ranked number 11 in the lightweight division. Diaz is 37, Ferguson is 38, Diaz is 6 foot, Ferguson is 5'11. Diaz has a 76-inch reach, Ferguson has a 76.5-inch reach. So a slight reach advantage for Tony Ferguson. If you look at Tony Ferguson's pro MMA career, of his 32 pro MMA fights, his 25 wins, 12 by knockout, 8 by submission, 5 by decision. Of his 7 losses, he's been finished by TKO or KO twice, once by submission, and 4 times by decision. He's lost 4 straight. Tony Ferguson is coming into this fight on a 4-fight losing streak. And a lot of people have been dancing on Tony Ferguson's grave for quite a while. And in his last fight against Michael Chandler, which was only in May, he got brutally flatlined KO by Michael Chandler. A straight up punt by Michael Chandler puts him out cold. But what happened before that? Going into this fight, I picked Tony Ferguson, and I said I was very confident that Tony Ferguson would win this fight. He was winning the first round. He dropped Michael Chandler. He was hurting him badly on the feet. Chandler wrestled him for the last about minute and a half to 2 minutes of the first round. And I still think Tony Ferguson got the first round. I thought he won the first round 10-9. Second round, they come out. I was very confident Ferguson was going to win this fight after seeing that first round. And then Chandler just throws that front kick from a mile away, and somehow it lands, and Tony Ferguson gets flatline KO. It was tough to watch. The fight before that, Beneil Dariush, he lost via decision. This was at UFC 262, May of last year. The fight before that, he lost to current champion, I know it's vacant, but current champion Charles Oliveira at UFC 256 in 2020, December of 2020. And before that, he fought Justin Gaethje at UFC 249 and lost. This was for an interim lightweight title. And a lot of people talk about Justin Gaethje taking this fight on short notice. Tony Ferguson took this fight on short notice as well. And he was supposed to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov. And that's a massive stylistic change to go to Justin Gaethje. And Tony Ferguson got beat up badly in this fight. I picked against him in this fight. Justin Gaethje just battered him on the feet. People forget, though, Tony Ferguson rocked Justin Gaethje at the end of round 1 with an uppercut, and he got saved by the bell. But he got tagged on the feet throughout the fight, Justin Gaethje's power, and it was accumulation that he eventually TKOs Tony Ferguson in the 5th round. This one was tough to watch. Of all the fights, this was the one that was really, really bad to watch because the Charles Oliveira fight, he just got out-grappled. But Neil Dariush fight, he got out-grappled. Michael Chandler fight, I mean, it hurt to watch because he was winning and then he got flatlined. But, you know, you look at the last 4 fights, and there's one thing they all have in common. These are elite-level lightweights. It's not like he's fighting nobodies. I mean, Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Beneil Dariush, Michael Chandler are all towards the top of the division. That's exactly why I believe Tony Ferguson is on the downslope of his career, but I still think he is a very skilled fighter. Before that, he was on a 12-fight winning streak where he was just the absolute boogeyman. He beat Kevin Lee for I think it was the interim lightweight title at the time at UFC 216. He eventually lost that because he tripped and tore his ACL and had to pull out of a fight and was stripped of the belt. And it's just, Tony Ferguson has had nothing but bad luck. He was supposed to fight Khabib 4 separate times, multiple times for the lightweight title, and it just never came to fruition. That's one that got away. But on this streak, he's beaten guys like Edson Barboza, Rafael Dos Anjos, Kevin Lee, Anthony Pettis, Donald Cerrone, and he just looks unbeatable. And, you know, it's unfortunate that he was never the UFC undisputed lightweight champion. You know, and he takes the risk going against Justin Gaethje on a couple weeks' notice. And then ever since then, he's had hard matchup after hard matchup, and he's just been dominated in most of these performances outside of the Michael Chandler fight. And now he's looking to get back on the winning track. He was supposed to fight Li Jingliang, but now he's fighting Nate Diaz. If you look at Nate Diaz has been around forever. He won the Ultimate Fighter. He's been in the UFC since 2007. He has 33 pro MMA fights, 20 wins, 13 losses. Of those 20 wins, 5 by knockout, 11 by submission, 4 by decision. Of those 13 losses, 2 by KO or TKO. 1 was a doctor stoppage, which we'll talk about in a second. 1 by submission and 10 by decision. So when Diaz and Ferguson lose, they tend to lose by decision. You look at Nate Diaz's last 2 fights. He fought Leon Edwards, who's the current welterweight champion at UFC 263, June of last year. He got dominated in this fight. Leon Edwards completely outclassed him in every aspect. And there's a bit of revisionist history going on because Nate Diaz caught him towards the end of the 5th round, rocked Leon Edwards. And had he not taunted, he might have TKO'd Leon Edwards in the 5th round. But he did taunt, and he didn't finish him. 99% of this fight, Leon Edwards was sparking Nate Diaz in every aspect of the fight. And, you know, for some reason, people just talk about him rocking him at the end. But this is Leon Edwards. This is a top welterweight. And Nate Diaz isn't even a real welterweight. He's just a lightweight that decided not to cut weight years ago. And there was a whole narrative because he beat Conor that, you know, he was actually a huge welterweight, which wasn't even true. Fight before that, he lost to Jorge Masvidal via doctor stoppage. Had a nasty cut on his eyebrow, scar tissue. The doctor stopped it. I was there live. I was a little bit disappointed, but I saw what I need to see. Jorge Masvidal was going to win that fight. Nate Diaz wasn't coming back. Whether it was a justified stoppage or not, I don't know. Before that was a win against Anthony Pettis at UFC 241. And just the story of Nate Diaz has been inactivity. Before that, his last fight was 3 years prior where he lost to Conor McGregor via decision. I thought he won that fight against Conor McGregor. I thought he got 3 out of the 5 rounds. Unfortunately, he didn't get the decision. It was a close competitive fight. Before that is when he stepped in on short notice and shocked the world against Conor McGregor at UFC 196. I actually picked Nate Diaz in this fight because I just thought he was a terrible stylistic matchup for Conor McGregor. He goes out there, he absorbs damage early, and then he rocks Conor McGregor in the 2nd round. Conor shoots in on a takedown. Then Nate Diaz just has his way with him and eventually gets the rear naked choke. And the story of Nate Diaz's career has been just inactivity. I mean, he has 1 fight since 2016, or 1 win since the end of 2016 against Anthony Pettis. What does that really mean? And now he's looking to get outside the UFC. Maybe have some boxing matches. It's hard to say. And you have Tony Ferguson, who's on a downturn himself. I mean, lost 4 in a row. Nate Diaz has lost 3 out of his last 4. His only wins against Anthony Pettis. I feel like this is a very competitive fight. I feel like this is going to be a very exciting fight. I think this fight is going to be primarily contested on the feet. I feel like both guys have a similar skill set. And also, I feel like there's a couple X factors in this fight. and that's Tony Ferguson's cardio. And I never thought in a million years I'd be talking about Tony Ferguson's cardio. And the reason I'm talking about it is because he was originally supposed to fight Li Jingliang in a 3-round fight. Now he's fighting in a 5-round main event against Nate Diaz, who has amazing cardio. Now, normally I wouldn't be worried about Tony Ferguson's cardio if he switched from a 3-round to a 5-round fight. But he took that 3-round fight on 3 weeks' notice. I don't know what kind of shape he was in. He didn't even have a full training camp for a 3-round fight. Now he's fighting 5 rounds. He tried to negotiate it down to 3 rounds. I mean, that's telling. That's very, very telling that he's probably not in 5-round shape. I know Tony typically has amazing cardio, but that's a question mark in this fight. We know Nate Diaz has been preparing. He's had a full camp for Khamzat Chimaev. He's going to come in shape. And, he's no matter what, he's going to have good cardio. And I don't know about Tony Ferguson. The other X factor is Tony Ferguson got brutally flatlined 4 months ago. I don't know if he should be returning 4 months later. But here he is. He's fighting Nate Diaz. As far as an official prediction, this fight is so tough to predict. But I am going to go Tony Ferguson via 3rd round doctor stoppage. And what I mean by that is I think at the end of the 3rd round, they will go back to their corners. The doctor will stop the fight because Nate Diaz will be cut up badly. I just think Tony Ferguson is still very, very skilled. I think Nate Diaz does not have KO power. He has 5 knockouts on his MMA resume, but they're all by accumulation. He's not one punch, just knocking guys with nuclear punches, knocking them out and flatlining them. It's not going to happen, I don't think. Tony Ferguson had a good chin. He was known for his chin, but I don't know how he's going to be affected by that front kick from Michael Chandler. So that's kind of a question too. I think Tony Ferguson's the better striker. I think Tony Ferguson's the better wrestler. And both of them have wrestling deficiencies. I mean, we've seen their takedown defense have problems forever. But I think Tony Ferguson has the advantage. If Tony Ferguson wants to grapple with Nate Diaz, I think he will have the advantage there. I think their jiu-jitsu is about the same level. I don't think, Nate's going to submit Tony. I don't think Tony's going to submit Nate. So I think what this fight's going to be is them standing in front of each other, trading shots. And Nate's more of a lanky boxer, and Tony just has this awkward style where he throws a good variety of attack and elbows, mainly elbows. Tony Ferguson will throw standing elbows. He'll throw spinning elbows. He'll just do the craziest stuff with his striking. He has a great variety of attack. And I think that Tony Ferguson is going to be able to clip Nate more than Nate's going to be able to clip Tony. And I think he's going to cut Nate up on the feet. I think this is going to be a competitive fight. I think the first 2 rounds are going to be very competitive. But I think Nate is going to be worse for wear. I still wonder about the Ferguson cardio just because of the short notice fight. But I just think Tony is going to land the cleaner shots. I think Nate, you can just look at him right now. You can look at him at the weigh-ins, the ceremonial weigh-ins. You can see the scar tissue above the eye. I think that same cut is going to open up. I think Nate's going to be bloodied and battered by Tony Ferguson. And I think it's just going to be too much, and the doctors are going to stop it. I think Tony Ferguson is just too lethal with the unorthodox striking. And it's not like Nate Diaz is super defensively responsible. He's got a great 1-2. He doesn't mix in kicks. Tony Ferguson mixes in a decent amount of kicks. Nate Diaz isn't throwing a lot of kicks. I see Tony Ferguson chopping the legs, throwing standing elbows. He might even mix in the clinch. And I just think that Tony Ferguson wins this fight, but it's going to be a crazy striking battle, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think Nate can win. I mean, I think both guys have multiple paths to victory, but I think if Tony does not get the doctor stoppage, I think Tony will win by decision, but I could also see Nate possibly winning by late round TKO if Ferguson is not in a true 5-round shape, which I don't think he is. So I could see Nate getting a late round stoppage, but I'm going to go Tony Ferguson. After the 3rd round, there's going to be a doctor stoppage. If not, I'm going to say Tony 3-2, winning via decision. He runs out of gas. He loses the last 2 rounds. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, and thank you so much for watching.